Hello, welcome to Here We Go. In this lesson, let's continue to talk about how to count at the end of a game. In our previous lesson, we learned about the Chinese rule, which is about counting the total number of intersections that each side occupies at the end of a game. The Japanese rule is not about the total number of intersections, it is about the total number of points that each side has. So the first difference is that in the Japanese rule, you do not need to fill in the dames. Like this, these square points do not give you any more points. Right? So they're useless for the purpose of the Japanese rule. So what are points? Right? There are three things that matter for the purpose of the Japanese rule. Let's look at this endgame pattern again. So for the Japanese rule, the komi is 6.5 points. Right? For each side, you have to count the empty intersections first, right? Like this. These will be black's points, right? Or empty intersections. You count these first. And then what you do is that you count the captured stones, right? So if you play online, the online platforms usually count it for you. So here you see 11 next to the black, meaning that during the course of this game, black has captured 11 white stones. And here it says 10 next to the white, meaning that white has captured 10 black stones over the course of the game. And then third, you count the number of dead stones on the board. And each dead stone is 2 points, meaning the stone is 1 point, and the intersection underneath it is another point. So that's why it's 2 points, right? So you count all of them, and then white adds 6.5 at the komi, and then you see who has more. So for this game, if we count it, you can see that black has 84 points, including the points that are underneath dead stones. And then 18 captures, meaning for this program, it means 11 captured, meaning removed from the board, and 7 dead stones here. And for white, it's 10 captured or removed from the board, and 3 dead stones on the board, so it's 13. In this game, the komi is 7.5, but if you play online under the Japanese or Korean rule, it's 6.5. Right, so you get a total number of points. And in this game, black wins by 4.5 points. So that's how you calculate under the Japanese rule. So again, I would recommend using the Chinese rule if you're playing on a physical board. The Japanese/Korean rule, or the point-based system, is what you see online. For all the online platforms, the automatic counting uses the Japanese rule. And what you need to be careful about is not to fill in your own territory at the end of a game, because that will lose you a lot of points if you do that. So for instance, now the game has finished. If I were black, under the Chinese rule, it's totally fine for me to fill in my own territory like this, because the total number of intersections occupied by black is the same, whether or not I fill it in with my own stones, right? But here, under the Japanese rule, as we can see, if we score this again, right, then it's different. Now white wins under the Japanese rule because black has filled in 7 of its own points. So black just lost 7 points by filling in his own territory. And similarly, right, you should avoid filling in your opponent's territory with your own dead stones, because that will give your opponent more points. For instance, if I fill in black stones inside here, it's all dead. And now, if I score this again, white will win again, because I just filled 9 points in white's territory. But again, under the Chinese rule, white still has 174 intersections occupied, meaning that white loses under the Chinese rule. But if you somehow fill in your own stone in your opponent's territory, that will lose you points and cause you to lose in some circumstances under the Japanese rule. So that's something that you need to be really careful about when you play online. And that's the Japanese rule. Thank you for watching.